Hey Wire Monkeys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Cabling. I'm doing a special tool show today with a tool that you're going to want to have.
Welcome to Let's Talk Cabling, the award-winning podcast where knowledge is power and the low voltage industry connects. Hosted by Chuck Bowser, RCDD, we're here to empower installers, designers, and industry pros with the tips, stories, and best practices you need to stay ahead. From copper to fiber, standards to innovation, this is the show that keeps you plugged into success. So grab your tools, turn up the volume, and let's talk cabling.
Welcome to the show where we tackle the tough questions submitted by technicians, installers, apprentices, project managers, estimators, IT personnel, even customers. We are connecting at the human level so that we can connect the world. If you're listening to this show on YouTube, would you mind hitting the subscribe button and the bell button to be notified when new content is being produced? If you're listening to us on one of the audio podcast platforms, would you mind leaving us a 5-star rating? Those simple little steps helps us take on the algorithm so we can educate, encourage, and enrich the lives of people in the ICT industry. Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What are you doing? You know I do a live stream on TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and anywhere else my platform will send it, where you get to ask your favorite RCDD. And you know that's me, your favorite RCDD. Questions on installation, certification, design, project management. I even do career path questions. But I can hear you now. But Chuck, I'm driving my truck at Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. I don't want to get crashed and get in an accident. That's okay. I record them, and you can listen to them at your convenience. And finally, while this show is free and will always remain free, if you find value in this content, would you click on that QR code right there? You can buy me a cup of coffee. You can even schedule a 15-minute one-on-one call with me, after hours, of course. So as I said in the intro, we as technicians, we love tools. We love tools, especially if they come in Milwaukee red. Right? We love our tools. And sometimes we're a little addictive to our tools. But what if I told you there's one tool that you probably never thought that you needed, but once you see it, you're going to go, Chuck, I need one of those. Here's how this happened. A friend of mine said, hey, Chuck, you need to go check this out. So I went and checked them out. I ended up buying one. So you'll see it. We'll talk about it on the show. This, I bought this. This is not given to me. Okay, so Chuck put his own money in the game here. This thing's called an Omni Shelf. So I want to talk to the owner, inventor of this, talk about the actual product and his journey. Welcome to the show, Bobby Martin. How you doing, my friend?
Good, thank you. Glad to be here.
Absolute pleasure to have you. So for those who may not know you, tell us who you are and who you work for and why should we listen to you?
Well, my name is Bobby Martin, and I used to work on drilling rigs as a service technician, working on all controls, software, HMIs, PLCs, electrical, pretty much everything. I came up with this idea while I was working on the rigs. One of the third-party companies, they always had on their control cabinets, when you open the door, they had a metal shelf bolted, a fold-up shelf bolted on the inside of the door. And once I said that's for them to set their laptops on, so they can plug into the PLCs. And that's when it kind of hit me. I said, dang, because I worked all over the rig. I need something, and the rig is metal, so I just need something portable like this, and of course magnets and metal. And then that's kind of like how the idea came about. And then one step led to another, and came up with the OmniShelf.
Yeah, one of the things I loved about when I went to your website, it's very simple, very easy to navigate, and I was expecting I'll be honest with you, I was kind of expecting like a 3D printed kind of thing. You know, my son has got a 3D printer, and he gives me stuff, and I have another friend's got a 3D printer too. And sometimes when I get some of the stuff, I look at it and I go, yeah, that's 3D printed. Yeah, it's not quite the same quality. But I'm telling you, the OmniShelf that I bought from you, that thing's top notch, and it's got a good bit of weight to it. And you have more than one option because not everybody has access to, like metal frames to attach the thing to. You have like suction cups and a bunch of other stuff. There's a lot, and your website's laid out really great.
Appreciate it.
And so you already kind of described the problem you're trying to solve. And before the show, before we actually hit the record, I never even thought about this. you showed me another way to use that shelf, and I know the magnets are strong because when I'm not using mine, I got it attached to my metal cabinet next to me here. You actually had 2 drills attached, hanging off this thing.
Yes.
2 drills. What
Yeah.
are those? What are those magnets rated at?
The ones we mounted, the use for mounting is about 100 pounds of straight pull.
And there's
Each.
3 of them on there,
There's
so that's
three,
like,
2 on the top of the Y and 1 at the bottom. Now it's wide, so that way it's adjustable. So if you can slide them all 3 down, and you can stick it to maybe like a 4-inch column.
you said you do PLC and some other stuff. That's low voltage work.
Yes.
The vast majority of the people that I deal with, they're low voltage as well, but they're going to be doing, voice cabling, data cabling, AV access control, fire alarm, and maybe even doing some connecting their computer to like a hub or router or switch to do updates and stuff like that, right? How is the OmniShelf going to benefit them?
Well, like myself, when I came up with the idea, I was always not just a laptop either. I use it for everything. It's just a workbench or a desk or whatever you need it for. But I was always having to set my tools or my laptop on the floor. And on the control rooms on a rig, they're usually, especially if it's a new build, it's muddy and dirty, and that's it just helps you ergonomically. It just keeps everything at arm's reach and safer to work.
Right. Yeah, it's because I can see a technician now with this attached to a 7-foot relay rack with their computer on it, because a lot of times when the racks are built, like in fact, you see the rack behind me, I've got a fiber optic enclosure, a couple of copper patch panels, a couple wire managers, but there's no shelf there. So if I'm a technician trying to update or do some changes to a switch or something, there's no place really for my laptop. And man, this thing's going to be perfect for that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely perfect for
Just
that.
makes work a little bit easier.
Raise your hand out there if you want your work a little easier, because I know I do. I know I do, right? Let's talk about some challenges. Everybody wants to build a better mousetrap. I hear this from technicians all the time. I got an idea for a great invention, Chuck. How do I go about this, right? What challenges did you face coming up with the OmniShelf and bringing it to market?
Pretty much every step was a challenge because I knew absolutely nothing about any of the steps. And I don't know if it was just meant to be or whatever, but every time I searched or reached out or I did anything, a door would open and I would meet the right person at the right time at every stage, from designing it to getting it patented to manufacturing and assembly, and just everything just kept falling in place. When I was finished with one step, the next step was waiting on me. And like I said, I knew nothing. I'm still learning today. Everything I needed, it's all new to me at every step still. So
Yeah, so you went through coming up with the idea. You probably drew it on a napkin while eating it at Chili's, right?
I did on a little scratch pad, yes.
See, I told you. So then you had to come up with the idea, and so I'm sure there's probably changes that happened along the way, right? As you went through the different designs. When you're going through those design changes, did you maybe solicit feedback from maybe other field people to get some ideas on how to make your product better?
Yes, mainly the guys that I used to work with. And of course, they probably got tired of hearing me talk about it way before I even got, had it made. But I was obsessed and driven, so I always got feedback from my coworkers. And
I get the same thing about I get the same thing about the podcast all the time. I truly do. My wife's like, quit talking about the podcast. I don't care about the podcast. But you don't understand, when you create something, your brain doesn't shut off. I could be laying in bed, and all of a sudden I was like, I got an idea for a show, and I got to roll over, and I got to write on my notepad. Okay, I was doing a call right before yours. I was talking to a potential sponsor, and we were talking. I came up just from talking. I got an idea for a great TikTok video. So make sure you watch out for this new TikTok video I'm gonna be doing. But my brain's always going to think about the TikToks, and it's when you create something. And I am a parent, so it's not really quite the same thing. But it's like your own child. I mean, you invest in it and you grow it, and you don't want anybody talking bad about your baby. And if you do, Them's fighting words, right?
Yeah, but I take criticism on the Omni Shelf, that is. Maybe not my kids.
There you go. Now you got one mounted on the shelf behind you. Why don't you give us a walkthrough
Yes.
on it?
Yeah, I'll show. I got it set up.
Make sure you talk loud so we can hear you in the microphone.
Yeah, I'm kind of soft spoken too. So this is the Omni Shelf. Some people get hung up that it's not just for a laptop. It's for a workbench or whatever. See here, I got drill hanging off of it, the impact hanging off. You can hang it off the sides as well. There's pockets up front. You can put hardware in as you're working. It'll hold most hand tools. These little rare earth magnets latch it closed. They have about 6 or 7 pounds of straight pull, and even insulated screwdrivers and stuff stick. Used to set my phone back behind the handle here. Drawings or whatnot, I'll slide back behind because the bottle magnet will catch it. It won't slide through. That's what I use to set my drawings. Got a mouse pad type thing in here to help when you are using a laptop or keep it from sliding, give you a little padding, and of course with the logo and everything.
It's funny. I got the mouse pad in mind too, and I thought you were just being nice and threw one in for me. But so that comes with every one?
Yes, sir.
That is cool. That is cool.
And the flyer that I have back behind it, I ship it with everyone too, just to show different ways to use it.
Okay. Yes, I got that too.
Let's take a short break. Are you looking to grow your low voltage business? At BowmanVision Media, we don't just market to the low voltage industry. We come from it. With decades of experience, we uniquely understand your business and how to help it grow. From social media to content creation, we deliver marketing that works as hard as you do. And while you're leveling up, check out the 49 Volts podcast, your go-to source for industry insights and expert interviews. Visit BowmanVisionMedia.com to learn more and subscribe to the 49 Volts podcast on YouTube or wherever you listen.
So you got a great product. Like I said, I never really thought about using it as a tool shelf until you showed me right before we started the show, which is absolutely a great idea.
Thank you.
What plans do you have to make this product better?
Right now I'm working on, I have one over here. I didn't have it set up. You want me to grab it or I can show it, but it's.
Sure, go ahead. We can edit it in. Sure.
Oh no. I took some of the tools are sticking up there or sticking here, but can you see it?
Yeah.
So this is for, I've had some customers say they have issues plugging in accessory cables and things when they're using the laptop because it does sit in there deep, because it is deep enough, you got just enough depth to close most laptops and hand tools inside it, so you can move from one workstation to the next. But this could serve as, especially small voltage technicians, you use a small select amount of tools. You could store them in there with the foam, and that foam could also be used as a platform to raise the laptop up to plug in your cables. We haven't sold this yet. I'm just sourcing them now, just testing it out.
Right. When do you think that'll hit the market?
Hopefully in the next 2 weeks, a month tops.
Okay, so but you probably by the time this show gets published, it'll probably be available.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Now keep in mind, things can happen, things can change, right?
Yes.
So let's say I'm a technician and I see this Omni Shelf there. How'd you come up with the name Omni Shelf?
My next door neighbor at the time, he was a graphic designer, and he helped me come up with the name, and he did the logo for me as well. And he asked me one day, he says, "Hey, you know what the word omni means?" I go, "Really? I never thought about it. I sure don't." And he says it means every, any, or all. So omni in the shelf, it can be used by anybody, anywhere, anytime, or however you want to word it, right? So, and I said, that makes perfect sense. And then I seen a commercial one day, speaking of the logo, I saw a commercial one day and it had a honeycomb design with the hexagons, and I had to rewind it to pause it and say, hey, so the hexagon, we were still trying to design the logo, we can make the O a hexagon shape because I have the hexagon honeycomb design on the inside of the shelf, and it'll all just blend together, work together,
Right.
and kind of worked out that way.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't realize there's a lot to marketing. I mean, first of all, you got to research it, make sure that somebody else doesn't have that name or logo similar to that, and then you got to find a name that fits. And I think your next door neighbor hit the ball out of the park with the name. because I didn't know that until you told me.
I
You know,
didn't.
and it makes sense for your shelf. You know.
I probably had 100 names written down on paper, just none of them looked right or sounded right coming off the tongue. And then when he said that, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, OmniShelf, that'd be perfect.
Hey friends, I want to tell you about a great organization, Tech Knowledge Worldwide, an active community of tech professionals dedicated to elevating our industry and each other. It's the real deal, and I'm grateful to be part of this community. Their annual tech conference is coming up April 23rd and 24th in Nashville, Tennessee, and will feature amazing speakers, workshops, and even Bixby continuing education credits. Stay up to date and lock in your spot now at tekfest.org. That's TekFest.org. I encourage all my low voltage followers to consider joining to see if they want a seat at TKW's table too. All are welcome to learn, grow, and see what putting community over competition can do. Go to tekfest.org for more information.
So let's say that there's somebody listening to this show, and he's like, Chuck, I got an idea for a better mousetrap. And you had that guy on that did that fiber clamp, and you got the OmniShelf guy on doing his stuff. What advice would you give that technician who's got an idea for a better mousetrap? Where would they start to come up to get their idea go from the brain to the market?
First of all, I'd make sketches of it, things like that, just to so you can visually see your idea and make sure you got at least a good starting point. Then find someone that knows how to do 3D CAD drawings to make the drawings for you. But before you even get to that step, because that can be a little costly, is run your idea by friends, family, co-workers. Try to do like pre-sales and see what kind of interest you would get from certain companies or whatever your target audience would be. And if you get really good feedback from it, then you feel a little bit better and more confident in moving forward.
Do you have a patent on your OmniShelf?
Yes, sir. Sure do.
Let's talk about that process, because I've heard that process can be kind of painful.
I had always heard that too, and that's another one of those steps where I just searched online and found a guy local, and he really loved the idea and loved the fact that he could help a homegrown product and business.
Nice.
So he did me right. Let me say it that way. He made it really easy too.
Yeah, I've always say it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
I didn't say that. My dad always used to say that. I'm
You don't even
nowhere
have to
near as
know
smart
him,
as my
do you?
dad. Huh?
I said you don't even have to know him because I didn't know people each step. I just met them at the right time.
Yeah, but you know, God has a way of doing that. God has a way of putting the right people in our path just when we need it. You know, just
Absolutely, I believe that.
it is what it is. So let's so if somebody wants to buy your OmniShelf, where can they go to buy it? And do you have any upcoming promotions or any kind of events?
You can mainly firstly go to my website is theomnishelf.com, like the logo. I don't know. Sometimes people don't get the word "the" when I say it. So theomnishelf.com.
I was one of those because when we talked on the phone, I heard you say OmniShelf, but I didn't hear the. So I typed in omnishelf.com, and that's not your site, by the way.
I had to go the OmniShelf because omnishelf.com was already taken or someone owned it. So I had to put the word "the" in front of it to get that domain
Yeah.
name.
I fell into that trap, so it's theomnishop.com.
Promotions, usually I do like Black Friday, so because I'm on Amazon and Home Depot's website as well, Walmart. And if people out there also have, some companies can only buy through, say, Grainger or MSC Industrial or McMaster Car. McMaster and MSC also sell it. You can go through them if need be. Promotions, I don't really have anything set just yet.
Gotcha.
But other products that I forgot to mention, I am working currently to finalize the drawings for a mouse pad attachment that'll slide over the sidewall of the OmniShelf.
Nice.
And it'll be in the shape of a hexagon to keep the theme going. And also maybe cup holders, tool trays, tool holders, things like that you can just hang off the side.
Well, Bobby, I think you came up with a fantastic invention there, buddy. And I wish you the most success. And I really think, like I said, once I actually talked to you and I got the website and actually went and looked at it, I literally purchased it within 15 minutes. I mean, I was like, I got to have one of these. I just got to have one. And my wife's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "It's a holder from my computer, baby." I'm not gonna tell her it has tools in it because then she's gonna say you can be buying more tools.
And also, as far as people, if they come up with ideas, they could always reach out to me. I'll help them if I can help them or lead them in the right direction. I'll be more than willing to help. Okay. Or if anyone has an issue with the product when they buy it, I'll work with them. If there's an issue, I'll work things out.
Thanks for coming on the show, Bobby, and I really appreciate you making this product.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on. Really do.
Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Cabling, the award-winning podcast where knowledge is power and the low-voltage industry connects. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your crew. Got questions or ideas for the show? Chuck wants to hear from you. Stay connected, stay informed, and always aim for excellence. Until next time, keep those cables clean, your standards high, and your future bright. Let's talk cabling, empowering the industry one connection at a time.